All right,
well, hopefully they join.
I'm here. Sorry, Your Honor, I was unmuting myself.
Spanish interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Thank you. I believe we're going to take Mr. is it, Peña Rojas first.
Go ahead, have a seat on this side.
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to grab him real quick. Right now. And then you were made aware of Leticia?
Yes, I was, and
No.
he'll be seen tomorrow morning.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Buenas tardes. ¿Se puede, por favor, decirle su nombre completo y su fecha de nacimiento al juez?
Alberto Pena Rojas y 12-12-94.
Alberto Peña Rojas, 12-12-94.
Even Mr. Peña Rojas, this is the time set for your initial appearance.
¿Usted está aquí? ¿Esta es su audiencia inicial?
Being seen here tonight on two different cases from the Pima County Justice Court.
Y usted está aquí relacionado a dos casos diferentes del Tribunal de Justicia de la Paz.
Remind you that you have the right to remain silent and anything you say can be used against you.
Quiero recordarle que usted tiene el derecho de permanecer en silencio. Cualquier cosa que usted diga puede llegar a ser usado en su contra.
First case I'm going to deal with is a warrant that was issued for your arrest by Judge Victoria Steele.
Primero vamos a tocar este tema sobre una orden de arresto que fue emitida por un juez, la juez Victoria Steele.
In this charge, I'm willing to release you, provided you promise you will appear at an arraignment in this case on July 7th at 8:30 in the morning.
Y voy a dejarlo en libertad en este caso mientras usted se presente el 7 de julio a la 1:30.
Ok, está muy bien.
Okay,
Gracias.
sounds good to me, thanks.
All right. So I'll release you and promise you will appear, and I'll set the hearing. Not done yet.
Todavía no terminamos.
Ok.
Set your hearing July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. And order.
Entonces, go ahead.
And I'm going to order that you not have any contact of any kind with the alleged victims in this case.
Entonces, en ese caso, va a quedar en libertad. Su siguiente fecha de audiencia es el 7 de julio a las 8:30. Le voy a ordenar que usted no tenga contacto con las supuestas víctimas.
No, está bien.
Ok.
And on the next case, I'm going to set it for the exact same time and place.
Yep.
Go ahead.
El siguiente caso que tiene, también voy a fijar su próxima audiencia para la misma fecha.
Ok, en la misma fecha.
So the same date.
Same day. This relates to charges of assault and threats and intimidation.
Y este otro caso, las acusaciones son agresión, intimidación y amenazas.
As with the other case, I'm going to order you not have any contact with the alleged victims, to include going to their place of work or residence.
Puede ordenar que no tenga contacto con las supuestas víctimas, que no pueda ir a donde ellos o ellas viven y tampoco en el lugar donde trabajan.
Ok.
Please make sure and show up to your court hearing, sir. Otherwise, a warrant can issue for your arrest. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Entonces, por favor, comparezca en su siguiente fecha de corte. Si no se presenta, se va a emitir una orden para su arresto.
Your excuse, sir. Thank you.
Ahora sí se puede retirar, gracias.
El 7 dijo.
You said on the 7th.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Eric Ruben McGuire, 3/16/96.
Mr. McGuire, it's time set for your initial appearance. You are being seen here this evening on several charges related to possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of obtainer of alcohol in a passenger vehicle, and criminal trespass in the third degree. Oh, I'm sorry, and criminal damage. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. Let's see. You're also being held on another matter, I believe.
Yeah.
Joe, can you confirm the other hold for Mr. McGuire? Thank you. Since so I'm only seeing you this evening on the city court matters that you have. In this, since you're being held, I'm going to release you and set a hearing for you on September 5th at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Maldonado.
Okay.
We're going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs and not return to the incident location.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Present. Here's your question.
Olga, you're the first one.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Antonio Astorga, 8583.
Story, good evening. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here on a few different matters. So we'll go through them in turn. First is a warrant issued for your arrest. All right, in the Nogales City Court. It's for a traffic offense. I'm going to well, actually, let me just make sure and double check. Sorry, you're being held on a DOC hold. Is that correct? Joe, can you confirm DOC hold for Mr. Astorga? All right, so I'm going to order you released on that, and just note on the order that you are being held. So if Nogales wishes to see you by video or some other means, they can do so. Second matter we have for you is a city court case involving charges of criminal trespass in the third degree and possession of drug paraphernalia. These are alleged to have occurred earlier today. On this matter, I'm also going to release you and set a hearing for September 5th at 9 a.m. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf and let you know that you are presumed innocent until proven guilty by beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to attend all hearings, including to demand a trial in this matter. You also have the right to an attorney, which may be appointed to you, and I will appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. As I said, you have the right to a trial in this case, where again you are presumed innocent and have will have the assistance of counsel. However, if you fail to attend any hearings, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Also, if you fail to appear at a trial, that trial could go forward in your absence, and you could be found guilty without the opportunity to present a defense. Also, if you're unable to be sentenced within 90 days of that trial because of your absence, you may lose the right to appeal. So, sir, if you do happen to be released, please make sure and attend your city court hearing on September 7th. Otherwise, warrant could issue for arrest or trial may go forward. And that's all I have for you, sir. You're excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas?
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Yes, sir. Paul U. Chavez, 5366.
Mr. Chavez, you're being seen here this evening for a couple of different matters. The first is a charge out of the South Tucson City Court involving charges of criminal trespass and disorderly conduct alleged to have occurred earlier today. Remind you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, which may be appointed to you by the court or obtained by you at your own expense. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty on your behalf and set this matter for a hearing on July 8th at 10 a.m. at the South Tucson City Court on South 6th Avenue. You have the right to attend that hearing and responsibility to attend that hearing. You also have the right to a trial where you are presumed innocent and the burden of proving you guilty is on the state, and that burden is to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. However, if you fail to attend a hearing, including a trial, that hearing and that trial may go forward in your absence, and you may lose the right to defend yourself. Additionally, if you're found guilty but are unable to be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction because of your absence, you may lose the right to appeal that conviction. So the bottom line, sir, please make sure and attend that trial or that hearing rather on the 8th and any subsequent trials. Otherwise, there may be some additional consequences for you. Contact with any alleged victims in the case or return to the incident location where this allegedly occurred.
Yes, sir.
The next matter we're going to talk about is a case out of the Tucson City Court involving a previously adjudicated matter of disorderly conduct and DUI. On this matter, I'm going to again enter pleas of not guilty, and I'm going to appoint the same attorneys as you previously had. And I will set the hearing for you on July 14th at 10 a.m. I'm sorry, at 9 a.m. And I'll release you on promise that you will appear at the Tucson City Court on that day. Can you do that, sir?
Yes, sir.
And I'll release you. Minority not possess any alcohol or illegal drugs or have any contact with any alleged victims in the case, to include going to the incident location.
Understood.
All right, sir. I believe that's all I have for you. Thanks very much. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Nathan Jacob Dunson, 10/23/1992.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Dunson, you're being seen here this evening because of a warrant that was issued for your arrest by Judge Victoria Steele at the Pima County Justice Court, related to a charge of failing to stop on a police command. Remind you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. On this matter, I'm inclined to release you and set a hearing for you for July 15th, provided, of course, you will promise that you'll appear at that hearing. Can you do that, sir?
Yes, sir. And then when they issued the warrant, I was incarcerated at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem, sir. Again, I'm gonna get inclined to release you, just provided you'll promise you'll appear at that hearing on July 15th. Can you do that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Are you gonna
Yes, sir.
You're gonna see Judge Victoria Steele on that date. Please make sure and show up to the court date, otherwise a warrant could issue for your arrest.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all I have for you. You're excused.
Well, see what's in there.
See those.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Melinda Sencillo, 5693.
Mr. Taylor, good evening. This is time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening on a charge of domestic violence assault that allegedly occurred on June 20th of this year. To remind you, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. Just taking a look at the pretrial services report for you. Okay. I'm inclined to release you, provided that you'll promise you will appear at a hearing at the Marana City Court on July 23rd at 10 a.m. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll release you on that promise. I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, and have no contact with the alleged victim, to include going to their place of work or residence. Now, do you reside with the alleged victim?
Yes.
Well, for now, you're going to need to seek some alternative arrangements until you can be seen on the 23rd. The jail has some resources they can point you to try to find you a alternate place to live. But for now, I'm going to order that you not return to the victim's residence or to go to their place of work. I will allow you, however, to go to the residence if you have any personal belongings there with a police escort. So if you want to go back and collect any belongings, you're going to need to contact the police, the Marana Police Department, and have them escort you to the residence to gather your belongings and then leave. You cannot go to the residence otherwise. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Then you're otherwise going to be released later this evening. Please make sure and keep copies of the paperwork you received from this hearing. And above all else, do not miss your hearing on the 23rd. Otherwise, a warrant could issue for your arrest.
Oh, thank you.
That's all I have for you, ma'am. You're excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Brittany Vanacek, August 5th, 1990.
All right, Ms. Vanchek, this time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening for two different matters we'll go through. The first involves a warrant that was issued for your arrest. So just make sure I have the right case here. This is a warrant that was issued by Judge Jack Payton on a little old October 2nd, 2015, relating to the charge of domestic violence assault. To remind you, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. On this, I'm inclined to release you on promise that you'll appear at a hearing on July 7th at 10:30 in the morning. Can you do that?
I can.
Then I'll release you. On promise that you'll appear, I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit any acts of domestic violence, that you not possess any firearms or weapons, and they have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, to include going to their place of work or residence. The next matter is a charge of driving with a suspended or revoked license, and then 2 civil violations of no mandatory insurance and no current registration. I'm going to release you on this matter as well and set the same hearing date and time for you on the 7th at 10:30 in the morning in front of Judge Foreman.
Okay.
I'm also going to order you not drive without a valid license. So, ma'am, you're going to be released later this evening. Please make sure and keep copies of this paperwork and make sure you're at your hearing on the 7th. Otherwise, a warrant could issue for your arrest.
Okay.
That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yella.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Good evening, sir. Yeah, Cesar Eduardo Villela Martinez, 10/28/1993.
Mr. Villela Martinez, you're being seen here this evening based on a warrant that was issued for your arrest by it looks like the Santa Cruz County Justice Court.
Yeah,
Hang on,
it
so
was.
just so you know, everything you say, you have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be used against you. So I'm just gonna let you know what paperwork I have in front of me, and we can then talk about next steps for you. This warrant, like I said, was issued by Judge Emilio Velasquez on April the 22nd, 2021, related to charges of driving on suspended or revoked license and failing to appear. This dates back to March of 2018. So on this matter, I will set a hearing for you on July 8th at 9 a.m. at the Nogales Justice Court.
Okay.
And I will release you so that you can attend that. Please make sure and attend that hearing. Otherwise, another warrant could issue for your arrest, and you can find yourself right back in jail. Okay.
I do have a question. On one of the paperworks, why did it say that it was issued in 1993? I think. Oh, okay. They had my date of birth as in like the date of when this happened. So it's.
I don't see that on the paperwork in front of me, sir. So I'm not sure what you were looking at, but irrespective, you're going to be released. Please make sure to get to that justice court so you can resolve this matter and move on with your life. Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Non-lead. Non-lead. Oh.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Malaya Nunley on May 13, 2005.
Thank you, Ms. Nunley. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening. Based on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and domestic violence criminal damage. This is alleged to have occurred on June 14th. Reminding you, do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. I'm just going to take a look for a second at the pretrial services report for you. Okay. On this case, Miss Nunley, I am going to schedule a hearing for you on July 22nd at 1:30 in the afternoon at the Tucson City Court. And I will release you and promise you will appear at that hearing and abide by the following conditions of release. First, that you do not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you will not commit any acts of domestic violence, that you won't have any contact with Mr. LaMarcus Salazar or go to his place of work or residence, and that you will obey all other laws in the state of Arizona. Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
As relates to the other alleged victim in this case, they indicated that they are willing to have further contact with you, so I'm not going to add their name to this, but please make sure and have no contact with Mr. Salazar.
Okay.
All right? That's all I have for you, ma'am. You're excused.
Thank you.
You.
Signs.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Robert Christopher Signs, August 21st, 1981.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Science. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're here tonight based on a warrant that was issued for your arrest by Judge Antonio Riojas at the Tucson City Court back in August of 2023, related to a charge of domestic violence disorderly conduct. I'm going to set a hearing for you on July 28th at 10 a.m. in front of Judge Hale at the Tucson City Court, and I'll release you on promise that you will appear at that hearing and that you will promise you will not commit any acts of domestic violence, that you will not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you will not have any contact with any alleged victim in this case, to include going to their residence or place of work. Can you do all that, sir?
Yes.
Then I'll release you on that promise. You'll get copies of the paperwork for this. Please make sure and hold on to them. Attend all your hearings in this case so a warrant doesn't issue for your arrest. Okay? That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Well, perfect. Marcus.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Celestina Valerie Sanchez, February 29, 1996.
All right. Sanchez, this is time to your initial appearance and arraignment. It appears you're here on related to several different cases, some of which involve old charges where a warrant was issued for your arrest, as well as new charges of criminal damage and possession of drug paraphernalia. Remind you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and one may be appointed to you by the court based on your circumstances or obtained by you at your own expense. You are also presumed innocent of these charges, and I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty on your behalf to the new charges. I'm going to set a hearing for you on July 23rd at 2 p.m. in front of Judge Jake Cranshaw at the Tucson City Court. I'm going to release you on that for that hearing on promise that you will not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you will not possess any firearms or weapons, and that you will have no contact of any kind with the alleged victims, to include going to their place of work or residence. Can you do all that?
Yes.
Then I will order you released. And again, set that hearing. All of the other cases will have the same hearing date. So hopefully you can resolve all the cases at once.
Your Honor, what was the date again?
July 23rd of this year at 2 p.m. Okay?
Okay.
So just so you're aware, you have a right to attend all those hearings. You also have a right to a trial in this, for any of these charges. At that trial, you are presumed innocent, and the burden of proving you otherwise is on the state. And that burden is to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. However, if you fail to attend any of those hearings, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Also, they could proceed in your absence, including that trial. So basically, you could lose the right to represent yourself and to present a defense. Also, if you're convicted but are unable to be sentenced because of your own absence within 90 days of that conviction, you may lose the right to appeal that conviction. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Bottom line, you'll be released. Please make sure and attend your hearings. Otherwise, there could be some negative consequences for you, okay?
Thank you.
That's all I have for you. You're excused.
Ruth. Ruth.
Sí.
Ruth, ¿qué pasa aquí?
All right, I believe this is this Mr. Cruz?
Sí.
This is a Spanish interpreter case.
Ready, Your Honor.
Great. All right, good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Buenas noches, si me puede decir su nombre completo y su fecha de nacimiento.
Mi nombre verdadero es Jorge Omar Estrada Polanco.
My
27.
real name is Jorge Omar Estrada Polanco and my date of birth is
Es 1981, 27 de mayo.
May 27, 1981.
Why is it a different name?
Okay.
That's his true name, but on our record it's Cruz. Okay. His multiple names. Okay.
So we seem to have a bit of a discrepancy here. It's not the name or the date of birth that matches the records in front of you. So
Entonces tengo aquí un problemita. El nombre que me acaba de dar no es el mismo que tengo aquí en el archivo.
El otro que tengo es Alfredo Cruz.
The other name that I have is Alfredo Cruz.
okay. And again, sir, what is your birthday?
¿Y cuál era su fecha?
Es igual. Es 1981, 27 de mayo.
It's the same one. May 27th, 1981.
All right. Now for the jail, were you able to confirm Mr. Cruz's identity by any other means?
Just from his immigration detainer, Your Honor. It has all his alias names and his true name listed.
All right, thank you. All right. All right, Mr. Cruz, you're being seen here this evening based on a warrant from the state of Colorado.
Entonces usted se está siendo visto esta tarde aquí debido a una orden de arresto que fue emitida del estado de Colorado.
The warrant doesn't appear to have a bond amount listed.
Y en esa orden de arresto no fijaron una cantidad de fianza.
Also says there is an ICE hold for the defendant.
Más hay una orden de detención por parte de migración.
Joe, can you confirm there is an ICE hold for Ms. Cruz?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. State's recommendation is $15,000 bond. Is that correct?
Y la recomendación de fianza por parte del fiscal son $15,000, ¿correcto?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sí, su señoría.
Anything further from state?
¿Algo que quiera agregar al fiscal?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation was based on the defendant's prior felony convictions, the lack of significant community ties, and the fact that he may be a flight risk due to his residency. In addition to that, I believe he has a warrant out of El Paso. So that was the reason behind the state's recommendation, sir.
Thank you.
La razón de por qué esa recomendación, dice el fiscal, es porque nos estamos basando en los antecedentes penales que tiene otro delito mayor, porque no tiene lazos suficientes que lo unan a la comunidad y porque existe el riesgo de que pueda huir ya debido a su residencia aquí. Y parece ser que también hay otra orden de arresto por parte del estado del Paso. Entonces, en eso se basaron para dar esa recomendación el fiscal.
And I'm sorry, I did fail to advise Mr. Cruz of this. Sir, you are you are entitled to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be for the purpose of the hearing. So please speak with them if you have any questions or concerns before saying anything out loud.
Y se me olvidó mencionarle esto antes, señor. Yo voy a nombrar al abogado defensor para que lo represente. Hay uno sentado enseguida de usted y para que lo represente esta noche. Pero si usted tiene cualquier pregunta, usted se puede dirigir a él antes de hacer cualquier pregunta en voz alta.
I'm sorry, defense, do you have any comment or argument on conditions of release?
¿El abogado defensor tiene algún comentario que hacer sobre las condiciones de libertad?
Your Honor, I also did not see a bond amount listed on the warrant, and I also do not see the information that the state has regarding the El Paso warrant.
Yo tampoco no vi una cantidad enlistada en la fianza y tampoco encontré esa información que mencionó el fiscal de que existe una orden de arresto de El Paso.
Well, so just to, I think, clarify, it's El Paso County, Colorado.
I see. Okay. I don't know if the interpreter wants to interpret that.
Y es del condado de El Paso, de Colorado.
Okay. I honestly, Your Honor, I think given the ice hold, I'm just asking for a low bond. I certainly is not one to be released from custody. So just given the circumstances, I'm asking for a low bond.
Dadas las circunstancias de que el señor tiene una orden de detención de migración, yo le pido, su señoría, que usted fije una cantidad de fianza menor.
All right, I'm going to impose a $2,500 cash secured bond.
Voy a imponer una fianza en efectivo o asegurada de $2,500.
And order that if the bond is posted, that Drews be under the supervision of pretrial services.
Y si es que el señor la llega a pagar, entonces va a ser supervisado por la agencia preprocesal.
And then I'll set a hearing on June 30th at 2:30 in the afternoon.
La voy a fijar la siguiente fecha de corte para el 30 de junio a las 3:30 de la tarde.
Bueno, una pregunta.
I have a question.
Feel free to speak with the client if you need to.
Sure. I don't speak the best Spanish, so I'm going to try and get through this as best as I can. Okay, I think we took care of it.
All right, sir. You'll have a hearing in a few days. Please keep in touch with your attorney. And that's all I have for you, sir. Thank you.
Muy bien, eso es todo lo que tengo por esta noche. Se puede retirar.
Gracias. Gracias.
Good evening.
Gomez.
Good evening.
Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Miguel Angel Gomez Peralta, 12/24/1997. Yes.
Okay.
She would like to use the interpreter.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
Okay. I think we got his name and date of birth. All right, Mr. Gomez, this is the time set for your initial appearance.
Esta es la hora fijada para su audiencia inicial.
You're being seen here on 3 different matters.
Usted está aquí debido a 3 diferentes cuestiones.
The first involves felony charges of theft of means of transportation, burglary in the 3rd degree, and possession of a narcotic drug.
El primero, que es delito mayor, es hurto de un medio de transportación. El segundo es por allanamiento de morada al 3er grado y el tercero es por posesión de una droga narcótica.
The second involves a warrant that was issued for your arrest by the South Tucson City Court.
El segundo caso tiene que ver con una orden de arresto que fue emitida por el juzgado de la ciudad del sur de Tucson.
Sí.
And the
Yes.
third matter involves a warrant that was issued for your arrest by the Tucson City Court.
El tercero es una orden de arresto emitida por el juzgado de la ciudad de Tucson.
And this involves charges of possession of a prescription drug and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Y tiene que ver con acusaciones de posesión de una droga recetada y también por traer accesorios relacionados con drogas.
You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you.
Tienen derecho a permanecer en silencio. Cualquier cosa que usted diga puede llegar a ser usada en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Tiene el derecho de tener un abogado y le voy a nombrar al abogado defensor de oficio para que lo represente.
The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you in this hearing.
La abogada que está sentado a su izquierda va a estar representándolo esta noche.
Please address any questions or concerns to your attorney before saying anything out loud.
Antes de decir nada en voz alta, le sugiero que usted primero converse con su abogada.
Review the pretrial services report that notes Mr. Gomez is a 5 and 5 respectively on the NCAA scales.
Y veo en el informe que ha redactado la Agencia de Servicios Procesales que salió en una escala del 5 al 5 en la evaluación NCA.
That in addition to the misdemeanor matters I just mentioned, there's a record of a felony drug conviction from New Mexico in 2020.
Y aparte de los delitos menores que ya he mencionado, también hay un antecedente de un delito mayor que tuvo que ver con una condena relacionado a drogas del estado de Nuevo México en el 2020.
The state's recommendation is $10,000 bond plus pretrial services.
La recomendación de la Fiscalía es una fianza de $10,000 y que si sale en libertad va a estar bajo la supervisión de servicios previos a juicio.
Does the state have anything further they'd like to submit?
¿La Fiscalía tiene algo más que agregar?
Only that the information from the residential and occupational stability were unable to be verified, Your Honor. So the state feels that he may be a flight risk.
Thank you.
La única información aparte, su señoría, es de que no se pudo verificar en dónde él vive ni dónde trabaja, entonces se muestra que no está estable en esas áreas. Podría ser un riesgo de fuga.
And defense?
La
Your
defensa,
Honor, Your Honor, I would like to start with an argument for lack of probable cause for burglary in the third degree.
quisiera empezar argumentando, su señoría, que no existen motivos fundados para la acusación de allanamiento de morada al tercer grado.
Third degree burglary occurs when a person unlawfully enters or remains in a non-residential structure or fenced yard.
Un allanamiento de morada sucede cuando una persona entra sin permiso o permanece en una área no residencial.
And the information that we have from the complaint is that Mr. Gomez allegedly admitted taking the motorcycle from the side of the road.
Y en base a la información que tenemos de la denuncia es que el señor Gómez tomó una motocicleta que estaba al lado de una calle.
The complaint states that the victim was tracking the motorcycle, but does
La
not say.
denuncia,
I'm so
la
sorry.
denuncia dice que la víctima estaba localizando la motocicleta,
But didn't say from where. It just says that Mr. Gomez parked the motorcycle in a yard.
pero no dice de dónde, nada más dice que el señor Gómez estacionó la motocicleta en un patio trasero.
So I am asking the court to find, or lack thereof, probable cause for burglary in the third degree.
Es por ello que yo le estoy solicitando, su señoría, que usted determine que no existen motivos fundados para la acusación del allanamiento de morada.
State, any response to the argument? Or to the
¿La fiscalía quiere responder? No, su señoría.
And I'm just following up with the interim complaint, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead and take a minute.
Si me puede dar unos minutitos, quisiera leer la denuncia. Está bien, tómese su tiempo.
And Your Honor, I do not see where we have any information directly from the police report about where the motorcycle was taken from other than the defendant's statement.
Y no veo nada en el informe de policía sobre de dónde tomó la motocicleta. Nada más tenemos lo que el acusado mencionó.
Well, insofar as the probable cause determination is concerned, I do find there to be probable cause to, for at least theft of means, as well as possession of narcotics. So insofar as the initial appearance and conditions of release, I'm not going to dismiss that particular charge. The state can certainly dismiss the case or dismiss the charge or seek to not to pursue it at a later time. As far as conditions of release, defense, do you have any argument to make?
Entonces el juez no va a desestimar esa acusación, se va a recalcar que todavía existen esas otras acusaciones sobre la posesión de drogas narcóticas, así también como el hurto de medios de transportación. La fiscalía puede, sin embargo, desestimar el cargo en un futuro o no hacerlo. ¿El abogado de oficio quiere agregar algo más?
Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider his age, his short criminal history. He just has one prior that is not local, and his indigency in considering pretrial services release or elopement.
Le quiero solicitar, su señoría, que usted considere la edad del acusado, que no tiene tantos antecedentes penales, nada más tiene uno que no es de aquí. Y también que él pues es indigente, entonces si usted por favor podría dejarlo en libertad bajo la supervisión de servicios previos al juicio, o si va a fijar una fianza, que sea una fianza de una cantidad mínima.
I will impose a bond of $5,000 cash and secured in order that
Voy a-
Mr. Gomez be released to supervision of pretrial services if the bond is posted.
Your Honor, you said 5,000.
Yes.
Voy a fijar una fianza de $5,000 y si llega a salir en libertad, va a estar supervisado por servicios previos al juicio.
I'm going to order that he not have any contact with the alleged victims, to include going to their place of work or residence.
Voy a ordenar que no tenga contacto con las supuestas víctimas ni que tampoco vaya al lugar donde ellos trabajan o viven.
And I'm going to set this matter for a preliminary hearing on July 7th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Voy a fijar su próxima audiencia para el 7 de julio a la 1:30 de la tarde.
All right. Mr. Gomez, as to the Justice Court warrant,
Sobre la otra orden de arresto que tiene del Tribunal de Justicia de La Paz,
because I'm going to hold you in custody on the felony matter, I'm going to set a shorter hearing for you on June 25th. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
como va a permanecer detenido por el asunto del delito mayor, voy a fijar su próxima audiencia para lo otro, para mañana, el 25 de junio a las 10 de la mañana.
And I will make sure that the South Tucson City Court judge is aware that you are in custody.
Y voy a notificarle al juez del justicio del Tribunal de la Ciudad de Tucson que usted está detenido debido a ese otro cargo de delito mayor.
And lastly, on your city court matter,
Y por último, en el caso que tiene en el Tribunal de la Ciudad de Tucson,
I'm going to set a hearing for you on September 5th at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Hale.
voy a fijar su siguiente audiencia para ese caso el 5 de septiembre a las 9 de la mañana frente a juez Hale.
And I'm going to appoint the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Voy a nombrar que un abogado de oficio lo represente en ese caso también.
That's all I have for you, sir. You're excused. Thank you.
Eso es todo por hoy. Se puede retirar.
And can Joe confirm, was that on Spanish interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'll excuse the interpreter for the evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Turns out. Females.
Yes.
Yeah, your person.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Raúl Rodolfo Fimbres, 2/1/1989.
All right, Mr. Scripps. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening based on a felony warrant that was issued by the Pima County Pima County Justice Court. This relates to charges of aggravated assault with two charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, 2 charges of kidnapping, 1 charge of burglary in the first degree, and 1 charge of possession of a deadly weapon by a prohibited possessor. All alleged to have occurred on January 23rd of this year. Bond amount listed on it is $100,000. Remind you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointed the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you in this hearing, so if you have any questions, please speak with them before saying anything out loud. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I've reviewed the pretrial services report in this case. Noting, I believe that there is a separate matter in CR 2025 1857. Mr. Fimbris is rated a 6 out of 6 on the NCAA FDA scales. And that there is 5 prior felony convictions dating back to 2007. State's recommendation was $100,000 bond with pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
Sorry, Your Honor, I keep on forgetting to unmute. I keep on forgetting to unmute. My apologies. The state's recommendation also points to the fact that the defendant forced his way into a home with a handgun and that someone was significantly hurt as a result of due to the dangerousness of this incident. We would ask for the $100,000 bond plus the recommendation to pretrial services.
Defense.
Your Honor, he's 36 and a lifelong resident. He is employed and he has family and stable housing. Pretrial services was able to confirm that. He is currently on pretrial services release. He had posted a bond, and as the court noted, this allegation occurred before that offense. This is back from January. He might be scoring high on the failure to appear scale, given that the warrant issued, but it's my understanding that this is his first time being seen on this matter. For all of those reasons, particularly because he appears to be being supervised by pretrial services. I see that he's scheduled for a pretrial conference. That to me confirms that he has shown up to his case management conference, that he either was able to get out or at least come to his hearings. I am asking the court to consider pretrial services release or a significant reduction in bond, particularly because he doesn't seem to pose any sort of flight risk.
Thank you. I'm in honor of bond amount of $100,000 given the nature of the charges and the other pending matter as well as the criminal history. I will order that it be cash secured and that if bond is posted that Mr. Fimbres be released to the supervision of pretrial services. I'll order that he not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess any firearms or weapons, and submit to all monitoring and treatment as directed by pretrial services, and that he have no contact of any kind with the alleged victims to include go into their place of work or residence. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing for July 7th at 1:30 in the afternoon. And just going to confirm, yes, pretrial public defender's office is appointed. That's all I have for you, sir. Thank you very much. You're excused. Sorry, 1 second. I just got the pretrial services report from Mr. Grijalva. All right. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
And Armando Grijalva Celaya, 6/1999.
Thank you, sir. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening based on 2 allegations of aggravated domestic violence alleged to have occurred in 17 March and 15 June, respectively, this year. To remind you, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing, so if you have any questions, please speak with your attorney before saying anything out loud.
Yes, sir.
Looking at pretrial services report. Mr. Grijalva Celaya is rated a 5 and a 6, respectively, on the NCFTA scales. There's a note of there being a misdemeanor probation, felony probation, and there being a warrant for Mr. Grijalva Celaya's arrest out of Las Vegas. I also see an indication of 3 prior felony convictions dating back to 2022 from Las Vegas and 2 from Arizona, as well as 2 prior domestic violence convictions dated 2019, both in 2019. State's recommendation is $15,000 plus pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
Well, the fact that there's a history of assault behavior, Your Honor, and that because of the nature of the crimes, he remains a continual risk to the victim in this case, and that is why the state is asking for the $15,000 bond and the recommendation to pretrial services.
And I just didn't want to note the pretrial services, I don't believe, was successful in reaching the alleged victim for comment on release conditions. I'm sorry, defense.
Your Honor, we are asking for pretrial services release given that he is employed and pretrial services was able to connect with his mother, who has stated that she can provide support, transportation, and housing. I would also ask the court to consider his age. He's 26 and he's a lifelong resident. He is not a flight risk, and it seems that pretrial services was able to confirm housing apart from the alleged victim. For all of those reasons, we are asking for pretrial services release, but if the court is not inclined to grant that, we are just asking for a lower bond. And I'm being informed that probation has now put a hold on him, so I am just asking for a low bond given that his release is unlikely until the matter is resolved.
And sir, Joe, can you confirm, is there now a adult probation hold? Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And then I'll note that on my order, and I will pose a $2,500 cash secured bond so that so time credit can be considered. I'll order that if the bond is posted, that pretrial services that Mr. Grijalva Celaya will submit to pretrial services supervision and to any monitoring or treatment that they direct. In order that Mr. Grijalva Celaya not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, that he possess no firearms or weapons, and surrender any firearms he may have to law enforcement within 48 hours of release. I'm also going to order no contact of any kind with the alleged victim to include going to their place of work or residence. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing for July 7th at 1:30 in the afternoon at the Pima County Justice Court. All right, sir, that's all I have for you. Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Hamilton. Hamilton. Hamilton.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Stephen Wayne Hamilton, November 14th, 1971.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here on a few different matters. First, is a felony charge of possession of a dangerous drug, possession of a narcotic drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia alleged to have occurred earlier today. The second is a warrant. Let me see. Oh, it was issued by the Pima County Justice Court. And the last is a matter from the city court involving several charges of criminal trespass in the third degree. I'm sorry, there's a warrant that was issued for your arrest based on charges of criminal trespass in the third degree. To remind you, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney. And on your felony matter, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you in this hearing, so if you have any questions or concerns, please talk with your attorney before saying anything out loud. You understand?
Yes.
On the felony matter, while looking at the pretrial services reports, there were 2 prior drug-related convictions noted, apart from the misdemeanor matters that I was simply referring to, dating back to 2016. And Mr. Hamilton is rated a 6 and 6 respectively on the NCA FDA scales. He's also noted as being steps diversion eligible. State's recommendation is $5,000 bonds with pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Defense.
Honor, I would like the court to consider Mr. Hamilton's age and the fact that he is disabled. He is a longtime resident, lives with his son, and the priors that the court mentioned does indicate some sort of substance use disorder. Of course, we're asking for a steps hearing to be set today. I would ask for pretrial services release just given the nature of the circumstances, but if the court is not inclined to do that, I would ask for no more than $1,000 bond.
And I am going to release Mr. Hamilton to pretrial services. And I'm sorry, have you talked to your client about steps, and if so, is he interested in being screened for it?
Let's see, I'm interested in give him some information just briefly.
Go right ahead.
Okay, Your Honor. Yes, he is interested, and we are willing to waive time for the preliminary hearing date.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so on this matter, I will release Mr. Hamilton pretrial services supervision and order that he submit to any monitoring or treatment that they direct. I will order that he not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to set a steps hearing for July 1st at 9 a.m. and a preliminary hearing date for August 8th, just in case that steps hearing doesn't end favorably for you, sir. And that's it for the felony matter. On the warrant, out of the Justice Court, I'm going to set a hearing for you on July 7th at 8:30 in the morning in front of Judge Eric Foreman at the Pima County Justice Court. I'm likewise going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you not drive without a valid license. And lastly, on the city court matter, I'm going to set a hearing for you on July 23rd at 2 p.m. in front of Judge Jay Cranshaw. And order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you not return to wherever, to any of the incident locations noted in any of these cases. All right, sir. So you have gonna have a lot of hearings coming up. You will receive paperwork with all the dates and times. Please make sure and contact pretrial services as soon as you are released. Contact your attorney and stay in contact with both throughout the pendency of your cases, so that another warrant doesn't issue for your arrest, and that you can hopefully move on with your life. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. You're excused.
Thanks.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Madrid has refused court for tonight, so he'll need to be continued to tomorrow, not Madrid.
I'm sorry, Mr. Madrid refused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will move him to initial appearances tomorrow.
He had a city case in that file.
Manny.
No, it's not even for Pierce.
Pierce.
Pierce? Yes.
Are you my public defender or?
Just for tonight.
Okay.
There you go. You know, probably see him tomorrow. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Heidi Pierce, 5/30/75.
Ms. Pierce, this time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening on some counts of aggravated harassment, domestic violence. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointed the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please direct them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. You understand?
You need to answer these questions.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Thank you. I've reviewed the pretrial services report. Ms. Pierce was rated as a 3 and a 2, respectively, on the NCAA scales. Alleged victims were contacted, and I'm sorry, 1 second. Confirm they don't reside with Ms. Pierce, and they don't want any further contact, and that they do object to Ms. Pierce's release from custody. State's recommendation is $2,500 plus pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
Your Honor, I'd just like to note that just due to the nature of the charge, we had to have, of course, the order of protection in place, giving the defendant notification of the behavior to stop. And yet, above and beyond that, we have 7 counts of harassment, all dating back beginning from the 10th, and repeated harassment on the part of the victims So that's the reason why the state is asking for the $2,500 bond, even though the defendant has no criminal history.
Thank you. Spence?
Your Honor, I would just first note, I know it's not this court's practice to dismiss for lack of probable cause, but I am arguing for release in part because pretrial services was unable to locate an order of protection. I know that in the interim complaint, there's an allegation that Mrs. Pierce acknowledges violating an order, but as the state mentions, she has absolutely no prior convictions, no criminal history that we know of. She is 50 years old. She's a longtime resident. She lives with her mother that pretrial services was able to contact. So she does have stable housing. It appears that she is disabled and unemployed. And as the court noted, she is low on the NCA and FTA scales. For all of those reasons, Your Honor, I am asking for pretrial services release today.
I also share the concerns about the repeated violations as far as the order of protection is concerned. There does appear to have been one in place, though where it is in the records, I'm not exactly sure. I am going to impose a $2,500 cash secured bond and order, if it is posted, that Ms. Pierce be released to pretrial services supervision and that she not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit any acts of domestic violence, and that she surrender all firearms to law enforcement within 48 hours of being released, and that she possess no firearms or weapons during the pendency of this case. I'm also going to order absolutely no contact of any kind with the alleged victims, to include going to their place of work or residence. I'm going to set the preliminary hearing in the Green Valley Justice Court for July 3rd at 1 in the afternoon.
I have to go with 1 second. I'll answer the question in a second. Wait, give me 1 second.
And that's all I have. Please, if you need to mute to speak at their time, please feel free to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
My full name is Manuel Rodriguez Puga. Date of birth is February 27th, 2001.
Thank you, sir. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here tonight on a single charge of domestic violence, recklessly handling, displaying a dangerous instrument, alleged to have occurred earlier today.
Yes, sir.
You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointed the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please talk with your attorney before saying anything out loud.
Yes.
I've reviewed Mr. Rodriguez Puga's pretrial services report, noting a 2 and 2 respectively on the NCA FTA scales. I believe the alleged victim in this case was contacted and does not object to Mr. Rodriguez Puga's release, and welcomes further contact with him Also know that there is no felony or misdemeanor criminal history. County Attorney's recommendation is $2,500 bond plus pretrial services. Anything further from the state?
Your Honor, the state's concern with this particular defendant is that he lacks significant community ties. He's only been here in Pima County for about a month. In addition to that, there was no employment information. So that is the reason why the state is asking for the $2,500 bond with the pretrial services recommendation.
Thank you. Defense?
Yeah, asking for pretrial services release, given that he was assessed at a level 10, and this was a non-violent event. The allegations are that in the heat of an argument, he stabbed a counter, causing some damage, but no one was threatened or injured. I would ask the court to also consider that he is 24. As the court noted, he's low on the NCA and FTA scales with no priors. And also, as the court noted, the victim stated that she was uninjured, welcomes contact, and does not object to release. I would further argue that he does have some community ties, even if it is self-employment. In one moment, Your Honor, Mr. Rodriguez wants to share. And so what he's sharing with me, and as is apparent to the court in his pretrial services report, it is palm tree removal. It is self-employment. He clearly has, I would just say, some community ties based on that information alone. So for all of those reasons, Your Honor, I am asking for pretrial services release.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I just need to review something that was included in the file that I hadn't seen previously. It also appears to be a lethality assessment that was included in the file that I just reviewed. Based on that and the victim's input, I will release Mr. Rodriguez Puga to pretrial services and order that he submit any monitoring or treatment as directed. I'm going to order that he not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you commit no acts of domestic violence, sir, and that you possess no firearms or weapons, and you surrender any firearms or weapons you have in your possession to law enforcement within 48 hours of being released. Given the alleged victim's input, I'm not going to order no contact. However, I do want to remind you, sir, that any violations of these conditions could result in you being arrested and taken into custody and held without bond, potentially. So, strongly advise you to, one, maintain contact with pretrial services and do what they tell you to do, but also not commit any additional acts of additional acts of domestic violence. I'll set a preliminary hearing for July 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. And that's all I have for you, sir. Thank you very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
Andrew.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Andrew P. Suhan, 6/16/79.
All right. Good evening, sir. It's time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening on two different matters. The first involves a felony charge, a felony complaint alleging charges of armed robbery, organized retail theft, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a dangerous drug, alleged to have occurred earlier today. The other matter is a city court case involving a warrant for your arrest that was issued by Judge Jeffrey Klotz on April 8th, involving charges of shoplifting and failing to appear. To remind you, you have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Pretrial services has shown as a 4 and 5 on the NCAFTA scales. It could not verify any of reported living history, but there was no felony criminal history reported or discovered by pretrial services. County attorney's recommendation is $25,000 and plus pretrial services. Anything out from the state?
Only the fact that that a knife was used during this incident, Your Honor, and that is why the state is asking for the $25,000 bond with the pretrial services recommendation as well. Also, I'd like to note that there's strong evidence in this case that would likely point to a conviction.
Okay, thank you. And Pat?
I think it's too soon to talk about that. I mean, I suppose it's something the court has considered the weight of the evidence, but at this time, Mr. Suhan is still presumed innocent, and these are just allegations. So for the court, I would ask that the court consider that he has lived in Arizona for half of his life. He does not pose a flight risk. I believe, as the court noted, he is homeless and unemployed. And while he has some benefits, there are no convictions. For all of those reasons, we are asking for pretrial services release. But if the court is not inclined to do that, I would just ask for a low bond, given his indigency and circumstances.
Thank you. I am going to pose a bond of $15,000, and as well as pretrial services supervision should the bond be posted. In order that Mr. Suhan not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that he possess no firearms or weapons and surrender any firearms he may have to law enforcement, and that he have no contact with the alleged victims, to include going to the incident location. And I will set a preliminary hearing on July 7th at 1:30 in the afternoon. On the city court matter, I'm going to set a hearing on September 5th at 9:30 a.m. in front of Judge Maldonado. I'm going to order similar conditions: that Mr. Suhan not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that he not have any contact with the alleged victims, and that he not return to the incident location. I'll also appoint the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you, sir. You'll receive copies of all the paperwork for these matters. Please make sure and keep in touch with your attorneys so that you can be prepared for the next steps in your cases. That's all I have for you, sir. Thank you. You're excused.
Erica.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Erica Mayhew, 10377.
All right. See, good evening. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening based on charges of possession of a narcotic drug, possession of a dangerous drug, possession of drug paraphernalia, and misdemeanor shoplifting. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for this hearing, so if you have any questions or concerns, please talk with your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Sure.
I've taken a look at the pretrial services report, as well as the state's recommendation, which I believe is released to pretrial services. And for a steps hearing, should Miss Yee be interested in it. Anything to add from the state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Defense, I am inclined to release Ms. Yee to pretrial services and schedule a steps hearing, but if you'd like the chance to talk with her about it, please feel free to do so.
Please.
How to spell that? How to spell that name?
No, we just did it.
Oh,
Because that's the church was into
Your Honor. Oh,
go right ahead.
I apologize. She is interested in the steps diversion program, and she is willing to waive time.
Ms. Heat, I'm going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services and order that you submit to any monitoring or treatment that they direct. I'm also going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you not return to where this took place. I will set a steps hearing for you so you can be evaluated for that program and possibly have your case disposed of in an alternative manner. That hearing is going to be on July 1st at 9 a.m. And should that not go forward, I'm going to also set a preliminary hearing for you on August 8th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So you're going to be released later this evening. Please make sure and contact pretrial services as well as your attorneys and stay in contact with both throughout the pendency of your case so that you're not missing any important dates and you're ready for the next steps, okay?
Yeah, Your Honor.
Thank you. That's all I have for you. You're excused. All right. And that appears to be it. Any